What is up, RetroManiacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name is Mike. I am from Mike's Retro Trading Cards, and I am pleased to finally be able to announce that I am joined by the two runners-up in the 2023 Time Person of the Year Award. Of course, the only reason they didn't win is because our viewership was split on who to vote for. You know, Taylor had all her Swifties. They were all voting for her. You guys didn't know which one to vote for. So they ended up runners up. But I digress. They are your friends and mine. Joe Day and EP Eric Pahalik. How you doing, guys? How you taking the loss?
I'm taking it fine. I will say, hey, for take number 4, man, you crushed that. We're very...
One take Mike.
One take Mike. Yeah, that's what you're known for. I'm doing great. As you can see, I am not in my usual spot. I am home for the holidays. That means I'm going to crack open a beer.
On Christmas morning.
Sure, we'll call it Christmas morning.
7 o'clock Christmas morning, and you're opening up a beer. Wow.
Well, I mean, that sounds right as well. EP actually picked this up for me from our friends over at the Rusty Rail. Vanilla Wolfgang Imperial Stout with vanilla, coffee, and oatmeal. So it's like drinking breakfast. So really, am I drinking beer? I'm drinking breakfast.
I think you're doing both, maybe? I don't know.
And I'm not going to let Joe drink alone. I also have a beverage from, I think we can say it, we can all say it now, the unofficial sponsor of Mike's Retro Trading Cards.
Absolutely.
Rusty Rail.
I thought you were breaking news.
No,
the official,
unofficially unofficial. They don't know who we are, but everybody knows who they are, which means we're doing our job. They need to
we're doing our half.
Oh man. Yeah. So, you know, we got to hang out a little bit last night, guys. Always a pleasure to get to hang out with you guys. And I have to comment a little bit, Joe. The Wi-Fi you have in your Bloomsburg hotel room seems to be the best you've ever had. I'm just saying. Shout out to Bloomsburg.
Shout out Buckhorn. I'm like right down the road from you, Mike.
You are literally like Joe
Isn't
maybe us from last night, by the way.
How do I not have this picture yet? Look at that.
I'll send it. I'll text it to you.
I love that. That's so good.
For those of you who see the thumbnail, if you see the thumbnail, there it is in living color right there.
Isn't Buckhorn just like Bloomsburg Heights?
Yeah, Buckhorn's like the semi-affluent area of Bloomsburg.
The semi-affluent neighborhood outside of Bloomsburg. Yeah.
Yeah, now the other direction where like Central is, that's the affluent section. But yeah.
Oh, wow. Nice.
But yeah, I'm in the semi. I'm doing okay. Yeah.
You're doing just fine. You're doing fine.
So how's it going, boys? Christmas morning? Did you open all your gifts?
Yeah, Santa Claus brought me everything I wanted.
I got freaking coal again, 5 years in a row.
Well, I mean, are we surprised?
All the viewers probably think he's the sweet, innocent guy, but now Santa's bringing him coal every year.
Wow. Well, I don't know if you guys have anything interesting going on, but I had myself a little bit of an interesting time this week. Apparently, this card, cool card, right?
Look, I can see Mike through it. I can see Mike right through it.
You can see me. Look. Yep. Hi, everybody. How you doing? Apparently, this triggers some people on Twitter.
Wait, what? People get triggered on Twitter?
Why would a cool 90s innovation trigger people on Twitter?
I apparently because I mentioned the fact that, you know, they don't innovate cards anything like this anymore on Twitter. I had a number of people who do not follow me that just randomly decided that they had to not only argue the point, but like the one person's like, is this sarcasm? I'm like, okay, so like what is innovative now? He's like, well, what about bat knob cards and thick patch cards? And I'm like, dude, like he's like foil numbered parallels. I'm like, dude, like, do you not realize all this stuff was made like 20 plus years ago?
My point for
yeah, and then he's like, I'm not arguing. Like, whatever. Like, okay. Like, I gave you an opportunity to tell me what's innovative and you failed. Well, like, either in your mind you don't realize that these things have been around for a long time. I had bat knob cards go back to the 90s. That's not a new thing. Like, come on, whatever. So,
and he said cut autos were a thing.
Yeah, cut autos. I'm like, bro, no, like,
numbered cards,
foil, but the foil numbered ones, I guess. I guess it was different than handwriting them on them or something. Like, they didn't, once they put them in foil, like, that's like, let's just say, for the sake of argument, that putting foil numbers was a 2023 thing. So instead of like printing them in black and stamping them on, putting them in foil is like an innovation that you're trying to make that's like great in the hobby.
Wait, guys, don't you remember the first time you got a quart with foil numbers on it? You're like, oh my God, look at this.
I know, right?
They did.
I know. Wow, this is awesome that the numbers are now foil instead of black. Oh, wow.
He sleeves and top loads all of his foiled numbered cards. I mean, they're all special. They're truly special.
I mean, I don't know. Some people just get, and like, of course, I look on their feeds and they're all into brand new cards. I don't have any problem with that. I buy a lot of new cards. Like, I'm not going to pretend like the stuff they put out now is somehow new and different than stuff they've been putting out for the last 25, 30 years. I pretty much feel like that's a pretty agreed upon sentiment in the hobby. Like, even the shills for like Fanatics and stuff could agree that we need more innovation in the hobby. And that's like, saying we need to create some new things isn't bad, but I don't know. Apparently, I don't know.
I sent you guys.
It's a cheap. One guy said, "Oh, it's cheap and ugly looking." I'm like, okay, hold it in your hand. Like, the netting, it's like, and like how dumb it is. Okay, you can, whether or not you like the netting, that's fine. I don't care. But like, Pacific had a whole series of like end zone kind of inserts running for years. They had goalposts and different styles of the goalpost, and then this one they have the goalpost with like the kicking net in it, just to make a different, innovative card. And it doesn't have to be something you love, but it doesn't make it not innovative. Like, they're two different.
And ironically, the stuff that you like that Panini does today is mostly just IP that Pacific had in 1995 that Panini just owns now, so they use it. I sent you guys 2 cards this week, to the point that we still like, there are cool ultra modern cards. I sent you 2 cards this week. One was from Flawless Collegiate. It was a dual auto of Desmond Howard and Charles Woodson, right, in their Michigan uniforms. Really, really cool card. Dual auto is not innovative. It can be a cool card, it's just not innovative. And the other card I sent you was an acetate on-card auto of what you guys thought was Donovan McNabb, but it was Jalen Hurts. But it was passing the torch, which was something created back in the 90s. Acetate, something created back in the 90s. And on-card auto. Like, there's nothing innovative about it. It's still a cool-looking card, but it's just not innovative. It's okay. I mean, there should be more innovation. But, I mean, you don't have to hold on to it like every year they're coming out with something new and wild and crazy and different. Like, it's just not.
It doesn't have to change. Sorry, P. It doesn't have to change their experience either. If I'm saying that like card companies don't innovate today, you can still like what's put out and collect it. Go ahead, P.
I was just going to say that we lived in an amazing time then, because you had, like, if you think about it, like we had the playoff contenders pennants that were like felt. In '96, Leaf did like a hats off insert set that had like felt like hats. Like, just they're just wild. Like, everybody was trying to do something to one up the competition. And I think that's the problem, is we don't have any competition.
Absolutely.
Like, that is the big problem.
And we're not going to for a long time. That's the problem. So whether you like Fanatics and are happy with them coming back or not, whether you liked or hated Panini because of what they did to the hobby, from the time Panini took over until the time Fanatics takes over, until the time Fanatics is done, I really don't think there's going to be much innovation, because there's not within like the actual cards. Right, like they had the patch thing, which was cool, but you have to do something like that every year. You can't just like, oh, the first appearance patch. Oh, we're just going to do that every year. Okay, well, it was innovative year 1, but after that, you kind of have to come up with something else now. You have to try and make something a little bit different. And if there's no pressure to do that, because you're not going to lose a license and people are still going to buy your cards, the only innovation I see them coming out with is how to innovate gambling into the hobby, more so than it already is.
I think
how to
really
get
cool.
kids into gambling too. We'll talk about that later.
It would be really cool if they created like teams working on different products and had them compete with each other for like bonuses or something like that. Like it would create that false competition there.
Yeah, we've talked about that too. And like that, I mean, that's really the only hope. We're probably not going to get a lot of innovation in actual card design. Like one of the things that frustrates me is though Panini has all this IP that they could go back and make the same kind of things that were made in the 90s, and they don't even choose to do that. Like, okay, Panini could legally do this card, whether you think it's stupid or not, some kind of card or one of the goalpost die cuts. If I had one here, I'd show you, but like they could do that, but they don't. Like they just they're on cruise control. And this has been the problem in the hobby ever since exclusive deals have gone out. We've talked about it. Everybody talks about it. Everybody knows competition is good, but we're not going to get it. And we're probably never going to get it again. And like they can make too much money off of exclusive deals. But like, I wish like a company like Panini, that's one of the things that frustrates me. They were just fine doing whatever they're doing. Topps too. Like Topps they do the same things. Like they have a lot of stuff they could go back to do. They do that, I feel like, a little bit more than Panini maybe. I don't know if it's because it's not Panini's own history, but you own all this stuff. Like Donruss and Leaf had some really incredible inserts along the years, and they really don't do much of any of it. And if they do bring it back, they use the name, but it's not anywhere near what the card was before. Like Action Packed, they had inserts and whatever that was Action Packed, but they weren't Action Packed cards. So I don't know. They could do more with the IP.
Like they do the Gridiron Kings. I noticed you opened up a box of Donruss, Mike, and I was watching some of the breaks of that, and they do like Gridiron Kings, but they don't look as good. Like if you're gonna not innovate, at least go back and use the cool stuff that you have. And like I was looking at some cards recently, like 2015 and before. Like they didn't call them Kramer's Choice, obviously, but they did like a version of that. They do versions of Crown Royale. I mean, Prism is just a straight up Pacific ripoff. But like, I don't know, like you have a lot of stuff back there. And I think they try and just throw it all in Chronicles, which makes it kind of less than. It's like, oh, cool, there's this Chronicles insert that we had back in, 1999 or 2000, but it's not like a real set, like, so, if they could just do something a little bit better with the old stuff they have, I think people would like it a lot more.
Let me ask you guys, if they came back with a playoff contenders retro that did like the 3 different cards, like the football leather card, the pennant, and then another card, like you'd totally buy some of that, right?
Oh, I buy
if it didn't cost like $1,000 or $1,500 box, like I would probably pay up to like $250, $300.
I was going to say $200 bucks,
like that.
I mean, not unreasonable.
It's ridiculous, but like I feel like that would not price me out of it. But yeah, I would definitely be in for that, and like that would blow some collectors' minds nowadays if they did something like that. And like,
imagine autograph versions of those pennant cards, those felt pennant cards.
Yeah,
imagine autograph versions of those. I think that'd be awesome.
Or even the leather football,
leather football. Yeah,
so much. Although they probably have a hard time getting the sticker to stick to the leather, right?
But they could get the foil numbers on there, though.
If it has foil numbering on it. Oh, well, speaking of foil numbering, we talked a little bit at the end of last week's podcast about some of the Bowman Draft SuperFractors ending up on an eBay seller's page. They had the numbers on the wrong side. They were on the back instead of the front, like a SuperFractor usually is. We had very little, knowledge of what was going on when we brought that up last week, but we do have a major update. And it turns out that, we kind of figured this like everybody else. They aren't fake, but they were a print run that was supposed to be destroyed, that had some quality control issues. They were supposed to be destroyed. Somebody smuggled them out of the building and ended up in the hands of this seller on eBay. Also, more has come out about a lot of the other Panini stuff that he has had, and has also had not even on eBay that he's offered to other dealers and stuff in the area. So I think it really looks like that person had a line to somebody at Panini. But okay, you have the Jeff Wilsons of the world. I'm sorry to have to bring up Jeff Wilson all the time, but he's clearly paid by Fanatics, which is fine. It's whatever it is. But like, let people know you are, and then maybe not try to come out with I applaud Topps for like announcing what this is and like looking into it. No, they get applauded when they stop this from happening. Right. You see, we'll look into this and if anybody they're throwing money again at a mistake or something. Why don't you throw money at making sure that people aren't walking out of the printer that you now own with stuff they aren't supposed to have? Guess what? Somebody was supposed to destroy that. That person should be known, right? Like somebody like EP, everybody has a job at the paper where you work, right? If somebody is supposed to do like put the picture in the paper, that's probably you, right? If you don't do it, we're going to know it was you that didn't do it. Like, so it blows my mind how this keeps happening. Instead of investing money into this printer, which by the way, too, the Panini stuff that walks out of there now, isn't that actually Fanatics' fault? They own the printer. Like Panini is expecting them to get that stuff and have it done right. Now you own it. You have no more excuses. This is all on you. And I don't give a crap what Jeff Wilson says. Admitting there was a problem, they're looking that's not going to fix anything. Get into that place. Get some. I said to the sports car dad, Dustin, I'm like, I'll send them some blank cameras from Amazon if they want me to. Like, whatever. Do something to keep these people.
Cams. Just
like, how do you get all those out? Like, I'm sorry. Like, they need to have better security there, and they need to have cameras on everything there. There are all kinds of other businesses that deal in valuables. How many times do you hear about Brinks truck drivers like getting arrested for stealing the money out of the truck? Never. It never happens because they have protocols in place to make sure it never happens. Hello, these things are worth a lot of money now. This isn't a joke anymore. This is like a major crime when somebody's walking out with SuperFractors out of your print facility. Freaking do something about it. Okay, rant over.
The crazy thing for me on this is, like, this is not the first time this happened. Like no. how many multiple 101s are probably out there, like fake 101s, fake like backdoor 101s are out there from years and years of this happening. I'm guessing that we've had a couple of these where people are things are coming to light about these people buying and selling stuff and doing things and making fake cars, all that sort of stuff, and it's probably way worse than we're realizing. And the thing is, like the person that took them out should be fired for sure. The manager that allowed this to happen should probably be fired. Like there's, the bottom line, but we also don't know what the hierarchy of the business is. We don't know if these are seasonal workers. We don't know any of those details, but like that person that took them out and the person that was overseeing that person that made to make sure that they got destroyed. Like how much money do you think those SuperFractors are worth? Like tens of thousands of dollars, right? Like,
easily. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy
to take as many as they took.
Well, yeah, the supervisor, who's ever in charge of that printing company that they bought, needs to be replaced. The person that took them out the back door probably should be facing some criminal charges, right? Like,
and the person that bought them,
the person that bought them received stolen property knowingly too. By the way, you can't say, "Oh, these." You just happen to have all these grand.
I opened a couple boxes and I got all of these.
Right. It was just like a hot box or something there. Yeah. So that person should be for criminal charges. And they always, like cops always say their favorite criminals are the dumb ones because they really don't have to do any work. This dude received stolen property and put them all on eBay at the same time. How did they think this was going to turn out? Like if you trickle one at a time, maybe it gets through. You are dumping all of these 101s, all of these out of fives, the green parallels from Panini that you also stole, And I'll tell you what, Mike, you alluded to this. I mean, Panini should be adding this to their lawsuit, right? Like
they probably will, yeah.
Yeah, like if Top or Fanatics is screwing up, like their biggest thing was, well, we have the printing companies out. We were smart enough to go out and buy the printing companies. So screw you, screw you, Panini. Panini should be like, well, okay, if you're going to do that and we're your customer, maybe you should be a little bit better at, the actual printing of this, because number one, the printing was screwed up, right? They printed them wrong, so they had to be destroyed. I assume the same thing for the out of fives. They were probably printed incorrectly. And then you let them walk out the back door, which damages the value of our actual cards that are out there. So, like, I mean, Panini kind of has a case here, if they really wanted to pursue something. So I don't know. It's very, very interesting to see. And keep in mind, this has kind of happened before, but not like through theft. Like when companies would sell and they would have additional merchandise, like you'll see not numbered PMGs out there, and they're sold. And when they're slabbed, they are slabbed as authentic, altered, or whatever.
They were from the fire sale, though.
They were from the fire
stolen.
sale.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That was what I said. That these aren't going out the back door. They are from when companies had sold. So, I mean, just be careful if you're a buyer. If something's too good to be true, it probably is.
Let me take issue with one other. Like Neo had a tweet, and I'll read the tweet. It says, to play devil's advocate on this, and I'll talk about this at the for all we know, security could have drastically improved since they took over. But if people want to steal, they're going to steal. And if it's an inside job, they will learn the ways to beat the system. As much as we would like, card printing factories are not Fort Knox.
This is one of the dumbest takes I've ever heard about anything in my life.
Again,
if people are going to steal, they're going to steal. Like, I don't know who this Neo guy is, but he sounds dumb. Because
it frustrates me, though. There are so many industries where they're dealing with valuable items that this shit does not happen. So guess what? You can make a printing facility that is printing cards that are worth tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars a Fort Knox. And if you aren't, you should be. It should be. Imagine working for like a jewelry company. Do you think those people have the ability to take diamonds out? Or come on, like use your head. Don't like this is the stuff that like normalizes all this crap. Oh, well, stuff happens, the hobby. We just got to deal with it. No, you have Fanatics coming in. Again, gigantic company. They have the resources to make sure that this stuff doesn't happen.
I bet you their jerseys and their t-shirts don't get backdoored.
Exactly.
I bet you any money.
If you want to secure your investment in this hobby, making sure stuff isn't walking out of the printing facility that is going to damage the reputation of your company, damage the reputation of the cards, and probably devalue the cards that you have in your packs, you need to get it right. Zero wiggle room on that. You have to do it.
What is one of the biggest cottage industries in this hobby? Vaults. Right.
Yes.
There wouldn't be so many vaults out there that you could put your cards at if it's like, oh, no big deal. They're just
if they want to steal, they're going to steal.
Like, right. People are going to steal. I mean, that's such a. I hate to belabor this point. The dumbest thing I've ever heard. Then we shouldn't have any laws. Oh, people are going to speed. Why even put up a speeding sign up there? It's such a dumb take. Devil's advocate is one thing. Stupid is another.
Yeah, think about the huge eBay sellers like Burbank or like ComC, which you think I would wonder like what size of their warehouse and vault and that sort of stuff. And you never hear any.
You don't hear about cards disappearing, people walking out and backdooring them all the time. Yeah,
right. So I mean, like it can be done, and if you're one of the companies, you should be making sure it's being done, like Mike said. Yeah.
Sure. In 1990, when everything was junk wax and cards cost 50 cents a pack. Sure, okay. If something went out the back door, it's frustrating, but it's junk wax walking out the back door. We were just talking about, maybe we would buy a box of cards for $200 to $250. Talking about that like it's the low. Like you can't get anything.
If it's that low, yeah.
If it's that low, you have cases of cards, most of which printed in those printing companies, tens of thousands of dollars for a case of cards. Like you just, I mean, it's not 1990s junk wax. This is stuff that is very, very valuable. And to just like slough it off like it's nothing. Oh, what's the big deal? It's just really terrible take.
Oh, well, let's move on here. I'm not sure you guys heard this one or not, but Fanatics are spending money on having Dude Perfect crew come in and be on Fanatics Live. This caused a lot of back and forth in the hobby this week. You have the Jeff Wilsons who are paid by Fanatics to tell you pro Fanatics things, saying that, if you want to 10x the hobby, want to get kids in the hobby, we need to do this kind of stuff. You might not like it, but like, this is how you grow the hobby 10x. You have other people going, why in the world are they bringing these people in? And you also have the other people that are going, yeah, but you're taking kids and putting them on Fanatics Live, which is pretty much a gambling website. So lot to unpack here. I know you missed the fourth group,
Mike. You missed the fourth group. The fourth group, me, who is like, who the hell is Dude Perfect?
Yeah, I was getting to that. Well, yeah, Dude Perfect. They do trick shots on YouTube. They're huge following. EP knows who they are. What were your initial thoughts on this?
Me?
Yeah. Since you know who they are, let's.
Well, I mean, yeah. Listen. If you are trying to grow the hobby, you're trying to get kids involved. Dude Perfect is a great way to do that. Like I said, they had a YouTube video like that they dropped 2 weeks ago that has like 6 million views. They got like 60 million followers. They got a huge following on YouTube, and I know that they do their live shows and stuff. And my buddy Bill Bowman took his son to a live show a couple years ago, and they had just a blast. So it's just people doing like trick shots and stuff like that, and just putting on a show, very much like some of the newer breakers out there. Everything's a big show, and I guess they do it right. So they're a good personality. They're growing the hobby. Again, like you said, Mike, though, Fanatics Live is kind of like this gambling side of the hobby. So putting it there, I mean, you're obviously it's a double-edged sword in that regard. But if you're trying to get kids involved, trying to grow the hobby, I feel like Dude Perfect is one of those good, because they do a lot of sports trick shots. I think it's a good combination to, if you're going to market.
Okay, Joe, do you have any thoughts?
I do.
You have no. Okay, good.
I do. Well, so the way EP is describing them a little bit, or like how Fanatics will use them into the hobby, like Mike, you and I watch this show Snowfall. We love very much. I've been watching The Wire, which is kind of like almost like a predecessor to Snowfall. I've just started watching that. Man, the way you're talking about trying to get kids into the hobby reminds me of a drug dealer trying to get kids hooked on freaking cocaine in Snowfall or on The Wire. I mean, it's like, oh man, just you market to kids and sell them by the ice cream truck that's driving by, and maybe you'll get them hooked and then you'll have a customer. It sounds really, I mean, it sounds grosser the way I'm describing it, but it just in general, it just sounds like a gross thing that you're marketing to children to go to your gambling site. I don't know. It seems like this sounds like a terrible thing.
It's crazy because the hobby started out with them selling gum in a pack, and then you got these cards that along with the gum. Like that's how it all started out. Like they were trying to sell their gum, their candy, to the kids, and they all had these cards. And now it's like come full circle, but it is such a different hobby now that's not an apt comparison. But just to me, it's a weird juxtaposition to go from that to.
That's also when parents were a little bit more locked down with their children. Like they weren't gonna let them go on. There was no equivalent to Fanatics Live in the 1950s when they were buying a pack of gum that happened to have cards in it for a nickel. You know what I mean? Like there's no equivalent to that. So I get what you're saying, like the marketing, how to market to kids, but the end result then was, you might have like 10 cards and it might have cost you 50 cents. Now it's like, your kid's already in $50,000 worth of debt and they haven't turned 19 yet or whatever. Like it's just, it's not great.
Okay. I have thoughts. I'll share them with you. First of all, I actually watched the first episode of this on Fanatics Live. I took the time to watch that this morning, and I have some thoughts I've based on here. Like, first of all, I do think them doing things with like groups like this and stuff can help build the hobby. What I will say is the way they're doing it, I don't really see how it's going to help, because first of all, I watched the live stream. It was an hour and a half long. Do you know how many cards they opened up? They opened up one Panini Black box.
It's like a 7-card pack.
An hour and 29 minutes into the hour and 35-minute live stream. As a giveaway. All of it was them signing different items and stuff that they used.
But they did a couple trick shots, right?
They were doing trick shots, yeah, like and stuff in. But like, if you're trying to grow the card market, my question to the people in charge is, how is having Dude Perfect on Fanatics Live signing football helmets, WWE belts, like all kinds of different stuff, how is that getting them into buying cards? What kid is watching them just sign their autograph on a bunch of different memorabilia and are going to go, okay, I'm going to go buy cards now? Like, it wasn't very effective in my opinion. And like, then like it felt so forced at the end, like, oh, well, we have to have a pack of cards here. They signed a box of Pokemon EP. They didn't open it. They didn't rip it. They signed it. And when they were ripping the Panini Black, like the one person said, our first rip. And then like the other guy, like the main guy was like, oh, our first one on here. Like, I feel like that was the first box of cards they ever opened in their life. And that guy said that, and the other guy was trying to cover for it. Like, oh no, let's
the irony is their first rip on Fanatics Live was a
I know, I was going to say that.
Yeah, exactly. But like, so okay, do something with Dude Perfect, but do something card related, maybe. Like, maybe have Dude Perfect, as much as people would go crazy about this, though, why not have, like, instead of doing like autograph cards of Jeff Wilson and Card Collector 2 and those guys, why not have Dude Perfect as like a special insert in Tops, like an autograph, like something to get the people, the kids that like Dude Perfect, to want to buy cards? That was what was completely missing from the first episode. Now they're going to do more than one. I don't know how many. It's not going to be regular. They're going to be like pop-up shows. So that means there'll be whenever.
Packs on the next one.
But like there was absolutely nothing in the first live stream that was going to get a kid that liked them to buy cards. So what are we doing?
That is a ridiculously missed opportunity. That's crazy. Like, think about all of. I was just thinking about it myself. There are probably 100 different trick shots you could do with a card. And imagine the person hits the card, they pull the card, they sign it, and they put that in a pack of cards. And that would be something that the fans of Dude Perfect would be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to try to get this card. Mm-hmm. Like that. I think that would be great. Like that, there are probably 100 different ways you could do some sort of trick shot with a card, throwing it like a Frisbee, so, crazy different things. And they could, the person that does it, then they sign it, they put it in a product. And I think that would work. But to have nothing card related for the first hour and 29 minutes whatsoever.
And it was clearly just that here, you have to open cards somewhere in here. It's what it felt like to me.
Well, now I'm less worried about kids getting hooked on cards like crack from hearing this description of the live stream. Jesus,
it was all autographed, like they were autographing these memorabilia items right there, and
that's not exciting.
Redemptions in a product, were they? Or were they just giveaways?
I think they were giving away and selling stuff. I think there were a lot of giveaways and stuff too, but I saw nothing in it that was going to make a kid get into our hobby.
So I guess just having a personality signing stuff is a big deal. So we should have the two runners up for person of the year have a live stream signing stuff. We're just going to two of us just signing stuff.
Absolutely, that'd be great. Maybe Fanatics
that's our next live stream.
Put that on. Yeah, I saw this. Mick Foley was on the other week too. I'm like, oh, this should be cool. And I watched like 20 minutes of that too, and it was the same thing. Like they're like autographing stuff and selling that, but it wasn't card related. So I don't know. They're using all these special appearances more to push memorabilia, which I understand. They're making more money off of having them sign memorabilia and sell it than they are having to print
10x in the
cards
hobby by
like
doing
But no,
that.
yeah, you're not getting people into cards. So Jeff Wilson, I know you watch our channel religiously. You tell me now, after having watched, because I'm sure you watched the first episode, let me know what you think that they did during this that's going to get all these kids that you're so concerned about getting in the hobby to 10x it, how they're bringing them into buying cards. Let us know in the comments below, Jeff.
Comments below. Hey, Mike, when we switch to our next topic, can you please make it something I know about? First, this Kid Perfect or Dude Perfect thing or whatever. No idea who those people are. And then you're talking about someone named Neo, not Matrix related. So now that's 0 for 2. So can we talk about something that I might be able to speak intelligently about? Jeez.
Okay.
It's
well,
crazy.
It just so happens I have the perfect topic for you.
Okay,
because you are the soccer card expert on the panel here.
I have opened up a box of soccer cards. I don't know if that ever made the channel, but I did.
I don't know if it did either. And you graded them too.
I did grade them. I did very well.
I don't even remember what I posted and what I haven't anymore. But
yeah, below.
Have you seen any soccer content we don't remember?
You've randomly seen soccer content on our channel. Let us know.
Pull back the curtain a little bit to people. Once you start doing this for a while and you upload a lot, it's kind of easy to not remember what you have posted and what you haven't.
I was uploading stuff from my phone and I'm like, did I send this ever? It was like a Marvel Series 2 rip. And I had to go to the channel. I'm like, Marvel Series 2. And I'm like, okay, good. It's up there. I can delete this off my phone now.
Oh, yeah. But it came out last week that Panini has extended their contract with FIFA through 2030. Here they are losing a lot of licenses in the United States, but they get the big soccer license. What are your thoughts on that, AP?
I mean, it's good for Panini. We've thought a lot of times about what are they going to do once they lose these licenses, and like soccer's a huge market, especially overseas. It's growing here, I believe, and I think this is a really good move for them. They can keep their brands and keep making prisms and all those cards with the soccer players. And again, if it grows in popularity here in America, it's never going to reach the levels it is in Europe and stuff. But I think it continues to grow here, and we continue to have better and better teams in the World Cup and stuff. They're gonna do okay. Like I think obviously not quite as good as they have so far, but I think it's a good move for them. It's a great move for them. If you can't have those big the big three or whatever, it's a good consolation prize, I think.
My question, I had two questions for this. One is this Panini America has the license?
From what I understand, it was with Panini, not Panini America.
Okay.
Yeah. Like the main
company. I guess that makes sense. But they are using IP that Panini America had bought, right? Because they're using Prism and I think they do National Treasures or Immaculate. So, and my other question is this an exclusive? Because Topps Chrome has FIFA cards, right? Like, is this an open contract or is this an exclusive?
I think Topps has a different license.
I think Topps has UEFA, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Topps has UEFA, and I think FIFA is all Panini now.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, so that's good. So to EP's point too, being able to use the stuff that they have, it should keep them afloat, right? We've been talking, are they going to end up selling everything to Fanatics at some point? I mean, if they can stay afloat from some of these other side things, maybe they won't have to, and maybe they do products with retired players. We've talked about this in the past, retired rated rookies or whatever, and then doing some of these smaller sports and trying to get that business, I think makes the most sense for them at this point if they're not going to just sell and move on, right?
Mm-hmm. I also wonder if maybe this, because they're only going to have the one main sport to worry about. I wonder if this forces them to innovate a little bit more and maybe try a few things that they haven't really tried that much. No, just going to keep printing.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're probably going to print a ton of soccer. A ton.
I mean, Panini is the soccer card company. I mean, they've had a relationship with soccer cards for like 50 years now. I think I read
stickers. They started with stickers, I believe.
And that's where they got their growth to be able to come into the American market to begin with. So I feel like, I've had hot takes on here about Panini and what I think is going to happen to Panini America. And I kind of feel like this kind of fortifies what I've been saying all along. I think when their licenses run out here, I don't think you're going to see Panini America anymore. I think they're going to go back, concentrate on their main business. They're going to keep most of the IP and use it to make soccer cards for the rest of the world. Like, they'll probably still sell them in America. I don't know if they'll completely shut down Panini America, but like, I kind of feel like this is just we lost everything here. We're going to go back. We're going to concentrate on our core business. We're going to wrap up this deal. We're going to move forward doing what we've always done.
And make Panini America their distributor of the cards that they make in Europe, because honestly, I don't see them printing cards in America anymore, because have you heard about all this shit going on with printing companies and stuff just walking out the back door? Why would you ever? I heard that on a podcast this week. That Fanatics is just
crazy.
Like shit, Panini shit walk out the back door too. So
crazy what people make up to put on their podcast.
I know, right? Got to get those splashy headlines. Clickbait.
Yeah, clickbait. No, well, we'll see how that works out for Panini. I mean, obviously they make a lot of money with soccer cards, so this should probably secure them over there in Europe. But I don't know if they're going to be here. I feel like they're not.
And maybe expand whatever European stuff is out there. I don't know what major sports are over in Europe. There's basketball leagues, right? I don't. Yeah. If they don't have the NBA license, maybe they try and get.
And didn't they? We spoke recently. I feel they did like sign a European basketball.
I think so. Yeah.
Contract too. So I feel like all this is just playing into. They're gonna let Fanatics have the U.S. and they're gonna just concentrate on the rest of the world. So yeah. And, I don't know if you know this, but the United Kingdom is part of Europe. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Okay. You're shaking your head. I didn't know if you knew that or not, but Topps released a Topps Chrome Disney set in the UK, not in the United States. They don't have the license to do it here, I guess, but there is a brand new Topps Chrome Disney set that was released in the UK, and the autograph cards out of this set, we saw one on eBay. It is Dory and Nemo, numbered out of 5, dual autograph. Person's asking $3,000 for that card.
So, first off, when you said, did you know the UK was part of Europe, I felt like I was in Ted Yeager's.
That's how I know. That's how I know.
Those Matt tests every Monday morning were something else. Like, I looked at this, I'm like, oh my God, this is the dumbest thing in the world. And then I thought, well, no one actually paid $3,000 for it. So this made me calm down a little bit. Yeah. They're asking. I can put any card I want that I have on eBay and ask whatever I want for it. And I see people do that with actual cards, with actual autographs. They'll put it up for like $10,000 or best offer. So, hey, maybe you can get a deal on it. So, like, everyone's losing their mind. Yet the guy's asking $3,000. I'm betting he doesn't get $3,000 for it. So everyone's kind of calm down a little bit about this stupid card in this eBay.
But it's Nemo and Dory.
Yeah, they didn't actually sign it either. I just want to break
because they're cartoon characters. They can't sign it.
Right. Oh, that's right. Their little fin out there.
I have read the Twitter comments. That is not true, EP.
Oh gosh, I can't. Could you relate some of those comments? I didn't see all the comments. Can you?
Okay. Well, yeah. Let me just take you back a little bit here. I read through a lot of the comments about this. Somebody said So who are signing these? Is it just some guy at the factory? Like, who's doing it? And first of all, from all the literature about it, they're facsimile signatures. Like it's not really well known. It's not advertised, but like in the sell sheet, it clearly says facsimile signatures. So they're not real. But
who would think they were real? They're fish. They're cartoon fish. Did people actually think?
But Joe, the characters, there are a lot. But Joe, there are a lot of kids that collect Disney character autographs, and apparently
I do know that
the characters at the parks are like trained on how to sign the autographs, and they sign lots of autographs. So people are making the connection that if people dress up like a character in the park and sign it a certain way, if there's an autograph and a card set, that must be the same thing. So yes, they're actually real autos.
So if I go to Disney, I can get Lightning Queen to sign a card for me.
Mm-hmm.
Lightning,
so, yes. So let me tell you. Let me tell you this. So I have a friend. He's in our fantasy football league. Mike Derek from our one fantasy football league. He takes his family down to Disney every year, and they will have everyone who plays a princess, everyone who plays a villain, everything. They sit in on classes, and one of the thing they do is learn how to sign like Mickey Mouse. So if you go 1 year and you go 10 years later and it's a completely different actor playing Mickey Mouse, the autograph is going to look exactly the same. It's like a legit thing they beat into people because of people coming every year with their families and getting that same autograph. So if you look all through the years. That being said, this might be the dumbest thing we've ever talked about. I am so fun. It is so stupid. Do people who got those Santa Claus autographs from Pro Set back in the 90s, are they thinking to themselves, I think it's the real Santa? I think
he'll say, are you saying it wasn't?
The one that
my God, just breaking news. Breaking news on Christmas Day. I just broke the news to EP about Santa. Yeah, it's just, oh my God, people. We're not long for this world. It's just time to give up and start over.
Yeah, well, my initial take when you first posted this to us, Mike, was like, that is not selling for $3,000. When it said like $3,000 plus $70 shipping, I was like, get out of here, get out of here with this. Like, it's not going to sell for that. I wonder. I would be interested to see what they actually sell for. But it's like $300 is probably a lot, but it's probably closer to what it's going to be than $3,000. I would think, right?
I don't know. Well, this is part of the problem, though, too, because we've clearly established there are a lot of kids who love to collect the autographs, right? But then you throw it into a Topps Chrome product and grown-ups get their hands on it, and then people who want to make money off it get their hands on it, and all of a sudden a product that would be fantastic. You want to talk about growing like the card hobby. Having a Topps Chrome Disney product where kids could actually collect the autographs out of it would be great. That would be fun for them. They might have a positive experience and want to collect other cards, but they're not going to be able to because you have people trying to flip them and get $3,000 for Dory and Nemo. I don't even know the names anymore. I'm so upset about it.
I mean, we talk. I use the expression all the time anymore, but like stuff like this, gentrification of the hobby, right? You've got these people coming in, raising all these, making things so expensive to get, and the actual true collector, someone who actually wants to collect these cards, someone actually who wants to collect the Magic Lord of the Rings, someone who actually wants to collect these different sets that normally wouldn't sell for a lot. But there's this one thing in them or these couple things in them that just boost the cost. And it just screws out actual collectors. It's really, it sucks. I mean, I don't plan on collecting any of these cards, but if I was a Disney person, absolutely. I think it'd be awesome to open up a box of this, but you can't now because people are asking $3,000 for fake autos.
Facsimile autos.
Go to Google, define facsimile. Fake.
A fancy way, a semi-affluent way, if you will, of saying fake. Well, that was a fun discussion, but I'm going to wrap things up here with one more little fun tidbit. We're getting to the end of the year. You're getting all the, card stats for eBay and stuff for the year. I saw that there has been over $12 million worth of Brock Purdy cards sold on eBay.
It's only like 5 of them?
In 2023, and 40 of them sold for more than $10,000. Like, we know he didn't have a ton of cards, so like that's pretty dang impressive, I must say. Like, are we looking at the next Tom Brady? Like, people, like, I'm an Eagles fan, so like I would love for Brock Purdy to just suck, but whether he's a system quarterback or not, that kid is playing really well. And like $12 million worth of his card, apparently people agree. And I like that. Kind of blew my mind though, knowing that he didn't have a ton of cards. So I think that shows a huge amount of interest in people wanting to get his cards.
Well, beyond that, Mike, though, he started playing really well at the perfect time for cards, because guess what set he is in? National Treasures. He's in Flawless. He's in Prism. He's in the high-end cards. He doesn't have a lot of the low-end stuff, but he is in a lot of high-end sets. And it just worked out that way, again, because he started booming when they started making those sets, because, again, everything's like a year off, right? Like, the draft class, this past year's draft class, probably won't get high-end cards until, midway through 2024. To your point about Purdy himself, I mean, people called Tom Brady a system quarterback for how long? Probably until he went to Tampa to a certain extent, right?
A lot of people, I don't think, like a lot of people you see commenting on it probably aren't old enough to remember when Tom Brady took over for Drew Bledsoe. Right. And like, yeah, there are a lot of the same discussions now that there were then.
Yeah. And I, just to finish my point about him as a player, I mean, he struggled maybe for like 3 or 4 weeks this year. And it was when their left tackle and when Debo were both hurt. So I'm not saying, but keep in mind, he's still young. Like 5 years from now, if their left tackle, Trent Williams and Debo were both hurt, he'd probably make it work. There probably wouldn't be as much of an issue. To see him then bounce back when they came back and just be lights out since then. I mean, yeah, there is a system part of it. I would feel more comfortable. I don't think this is even a hot take. I would feel more comfortable dropping 10 grand on a Brock Purdy card than I ever would have a Justin Herbert card, ever. And Herbert has this long track record of being this hobby darling. Give me a Purdy card for the same price, and I'd hold that and feel way more comfortable about it.
I've said in here before that if you think about if Brock Purdy was drafted where Trey Lance was drafted and was doing what Brock Purdy's doing now, we'd be talking about him like he's next Tom Brady. Like we'd be talking about him being this great quarterback. And yes, he has great weapons, but I mean, you look at the great quarterbacks in the past. Joe Montana had Jerry Rice, and for Brady even had Randy Moss for a few years. Like that's going to happen, but it's about the decision making and playing well. And it seems like he's doing a lot of that stuff. I don't think you can beat the teams that he's beaten, like especially like the Eagles, without making good plays and that sort of stuff. So I agree. He is a very much an up and comer. I'm excited to see where he can go. I don't have any pretty cards myself, but sounds like I'm gonna have to pay if I'm
might be priced out of them at this point.
Yeah, me too. I don't have any either, so I'm not doing this to pump him up. But I'm an Eagles fan, and I look at him and go, "Oh shit."
And and to that same point, Mike, I'm a Kenny Pickett fan, and I long for the day that he is in a Kyle Shanahan offense.
Yeah,
I'm that's the one thing that really I think I like about Purdy way more than Herbert is the stability that he's going to have, very similar to Brady, with the stability that Brady had. Now, Brady did have Randy Moss, but how many years into his career did he have Randy Moss?
Right.
He was doing it with Deion Branch and who was the guy?
Troy
Brown, who played defensive back too. I mean, so he was doing it with those type of players before he got the Randy Moss and Wes Welker. And really, was Wes Welker? I don't think Wes Welker made Tom Brady. I'm pretty sure it was Tom Brady made Wes Welker. But yeah, that stability of having Kyle Shanahan probably for a good chunk of his career can't be a bad thing when you have Herbert, who's already lost one head coach, and chances are the Chargers aren't that great, and they're not going to be for a while. So,
and that's the thing too. Like, for anybody to be successful, they have to have a system around them that allows them to be. There have probably been a lot of quarterbacks come and go in the NFL that could have made it if they would have been in the right situation. But we
joke around 1999, Tim Couch.
Yeah, but you can't discount the player that's there. Yeah, he might have a little better chance to succeed, but like, that's not a bad thing. Like, that gives him the opportunity to learn and do the right things and make good decisions, and that will just grow. Like Tom Brady, he has a lot of similarities to Tom Brady early in his career. Like, everybody just discounting what he's doing, but him getting better. He is getting better. It's a year later. He's a lot better quarterback than he was a year ago. Like, a year ago, I wouldn't be talking like I am now, but now I look at him and I see a guy that, unless he gets hurt, should be successful for 15 years in the NFL.
Coming back from the elbow injury too. I mean, and coming back so successfully that they were like, we don't need the guy who we spent the third overall pick on. We can just shove him off to be a third stringer in Dallas. Now, to be fair, we are releasing this. I mean, we're recording this at 7 a.m. on Monday morning. I need Brock Purdy to have a hell of a game Monday night for my fantasy football league. So for League One. So here's hoping that he doesn't take everything I say and just punch me in the face with it. So
I could use some Debo and CMC help, so I'm with you there on that.
CMC short, Debo now. He needs 1 for 0.
All right, guys, we'll wrap it up there for the year. That was a good chat. It was a lot of fun doing this podcast with you in 2023. I hope you come back in 2024. Again, we'll see if we can get the contract signed in time for next week. But
we've unionized, Mike. We've unionized.
I know. The negotiations have been hell, but I will get it done. I promise the viewers. But other than that, I will see you next year. Take care, guys.
See you, boys.
Happy New Year.